people are like, oh yeah, a movie that drew inspiration from films is responsible for all these different films. But I mean, cinema just borrows from. I mean, we love Deep Blue Sea, and there's just homages to Jaws and Jurassic Park, and
Yeah.
I mean, even this film. And I think nowadays almost everything is reductive. You see a car chase, oh, it ripped off French Connection. What? You see a romance, oh, it ripped off Philadelphia Story. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah.
I think
Any good film is going to inspire the people that are watching it, and they're going to go make a film and they're going to take the good things. And yes, Alien is a great film in the same kind of genre of a group of people aboard a vehicle that has, it's got a big monster on it. That's kind of where the similarities end. It's a setup.
It's just odd.
So
right?
reductive.
So I love watching. I'm a big soccer fan, so I like watching soccer. Every game of soccer that I watch, it's the same game, but each game's different because it's a different team, but they still kick the balls the same way. You still score the same way. It's still the sport, but each game has something a little unique. That's the way I look at creature features and monster movies, where they're going to share similarities, but they're all a little different. But I love all of them.
That's why I don't watch sports, because they're always the same.
God.
But I would say football games are more similar to each other than this is to Alien.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I just disagree.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people don't like watching that, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I absolutely get what you're saying, but I'm just not a sports guy.
It just seems, what I don't like is we have all these Marvel movies out now, and you watch a Marvel movie and they're heavily reductive of or borrow from other movies. I mean, in 2018, Black Panther was absolutely groundbreaking, but that and Aquaman both featured heroes' journeys.
Yeah.
You have a guy, he should be the king, but then he doesn't know it. Then he comes back, he gets his butt kicked, and then he gets a bunch of help from people, comes back, reclaims his throne with a final fight in a massive war. I mean, it's people, like the same people are saying how beautiful those movies are. Will be like, yeah, Deep Rising borrowed from Alien. You're like, no, like it's not. It's just hard for me to watch.
Right, you got like Star Wars is influenced by Kurosawa films.
Exactly. You can look at the shots and see shot for shot.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. Every Tarantino film is a montage of other films Tarantino likes. It's fine.
Force Awakens is a remake, essentially.
Yeah.
Or a reboot, remake. Evil Dead 2 is one of the most popular horror movies ever made, and it's a reboot of the first one.
Yeah, they remake the first film in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I just don't like that. This is a funky, fun, cheeky, gory, likable, scrappy movie, and then, it's Alien. But then you watch something else, you're like, that was great. You're like, wait, what? It's just very selective, ripped off that.
You know what Alien doesn't have? It doesn't have someone being killed on the toilet.
Yeah.
This does, and it's great.
Beautiful. Getting sucked right through it. Okay. The one issue I have with this movie, and it's not an issue, because I love this movie monster, but its tentacles seemingly spread miles. And they never explain if they have eyes or, I mean, they must be independent because they're connected to the monster, but they can see. But they can also stretch out over the course of 200 yards, which means an extreme amount of strength from this monster. And they said, I do like when Held, the guy who wants to blow up his $400-something million cruise liner, because you got the math wrong. But he's like, that's in the sheer power of this thing. So it's powerful. It's cool. I love it. But those tentacles, I don't understand this monster. But I didn't understand the xenomorph, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, the tentacles, they're like fists, but they're also kind of like eyes, but also like fingers, they're probes. They do so much, but it's a kind of monster design I hadn't really seen before, and I like that. I'm always up for inventive thing designs. And also there's a mouth on each one as well. So many things that you don't want to see in each of these tentacles. And like
swallow people alive.
Yeah, and the main body of the thing has those giant eyes on it, so I don't know if it would have tentacles on the eyes as well. But I love the interaction between the tentacle and that gas pipe that kind of brushes past and the steam starts coming out, and it kind of looks at it and attacks the steam thing. That's such a little detail, a small kind of thing that it doesn't need to be in the film, but I love that it's there. There's real personality to this thing.
What are you looking at? Kerplow! I kind of feel bad, though, that this ancient sea beast, who's a part of Kong Skull Island...
Yes! That's where they end up at the end. They're on Skull Island. I love it.
They were going to make a sequel. So, and Benny originally died. And Benny shouldn't have died in The Mummy, by the way. Benny originally died, but test audiences loved him so much they reshot the ending and bring him back on a surfboard, which is beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay. He should have died in The Mummy. He's a horrible character in The Mummy. I love him in The Mummy, but his death is very fitting.
Him and his charms, just, he's so good. He's so evil. And he's
consumed in the dark by an army of scarab beetles.
He's so wonderful, Benny. He's one of my favorites. But so the three of them, if this movie was a success, they were going to do a Journey to the Center of the Earth style film where it's just three of them trying to survive.
Okay.
I'd
watch that.
Which would be beautiful. The three of them.
Yeah.
His bullet
get some dinosaurs in there.
And, just give me those three running around with dinosaurs. Oh, that would have been cool. After looking at this movie though, and all the delays and when it came out and its release date, I guess it never really had a chance. But I am very happy. Aaron Newworth, they covered this on his podcast, Out Now with Aaron and Abe. They did a commentary for it.
Oh, I'll have to listen to that.
And then he said shortly after, Kino Lorber decided to do the Blu-ray for it, but he loves it. I've been reading like Joe Blow. I've been reading Oliver, I think Harper. He did a retrospective on it, and I think there's all these articles out. The Guardian did one. Collider did one, but they were just advertising movies anywhere, which was kind of weird. But I think there's people who realize this is good. This is a good movie. This isn't a so bad it's good. This is good. This is a good movie.
It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly if you're going in to watch this film, you're going in to have a good time, and that's exactly what you get.
Can you think of the last time that you laughed as hard when Benny's like, "You a-hole"? I laughed so hard during that scene. It was just beautiful. What a funny, written, silly moment. And also a gnarly death, too. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of laughs in The Mitchells versus the Machines. Would probably be a recent one that I really enjoyed.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
It is really good. There's a dog in it that has interactions with robots, and that's all I'm going to say.
Okay. I might I can't watch it tonight. Maybe tomorrow night.
You should definitely watch it. It is a strong recommendation.
I need to write a review. I'm going to write a review for Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar, because that's a beautiful film.
I want to see it. One of
the weirdest things. We were listening to the commentary last night, and it'll change your life. But there's the silly moments, just how many islands there are? 2? It's, And then I like when they climb up to get into the cruise ship from his boat. And Benny I know I keep saying Benny, Tooch. It's like, that was actually kind of fun. Like, he enjoyed climbing up on that. So good.
Actually, I think another slight problem I had with it was the names of the characters. Like, nothing really, like, they don't have like one solid name each that they get called again and again, so it sticks in your head. So like Kevin J. O'Connor, he is called by some characters call him Joey, some characters call him Tooch, some call him Pantucci. So I got to the end of the film not knowing what his name was, because he got called all these different things. But I think Treat Williams, again, his name's Finnegan. It's not said that many times. But he calls him all 3 different names at various points, and it didn't cement in my head. Simon Canton, stuck in there. Nothing else did all that well. So it's a small problem. It's not even a problem.
If you think about it, O'Connell, like that's and Benny and just
Benny.
Yeah. Oh man, you're on the other side of the river. Oh, what a good movie.
I love the scene in the elevator where it's just like 9 people in this small room and it's going nuts. It's going up and down all over the place, and they're all just trying to survive it. That was fun. And but the girl from Ipanema playing at the end of it, and then it crashes to the bottom. Like, this elevator is out of order.
Hey, what was that? What is this? Or what was that?
It's the girl from Ipanema. Yeah.
I kept trying to interrupt you there because I love that moment.
Sorry.
No, it's my fault. I was trying to interrupt you. It's a beautiful elevator moment. It's cheeky. It's fun. It featured a great shoe womping and a great shoe dropping.
But I've seen lists of the great elevator scenes from films, and this has not appeared on it. You get Speed. You get, I think, Devil. This is a great elevator film. But Deep Rising just doesn't seem to appear on those lists.
It needs to be on more.
It does.
Oh, man. I just love the whole screwed up math, too. The guy the guy built a cruise liner that was too expensive to be profitable. I'm just judging the market. Like, that's the whole plot of this movie. But then it makes sense that they're way out, like 600 miles away from anything. There are uncharted islands. But then that makes sense that they're by, like, the Mariana Trench. They're in the middle of nowhere, and that's where this monster comes from. So it makes... You know what's weird? You think about the plot of this movie, and you just kind of think, okay, like, that makes sense. I don't know if you felt that way, but they're in the middle of nowhere, and there's a monster attacking them. That's a pretty good premise.
Yeah, they may have overcomplicated a little bit by having the guy trying to blow up his own cruise liner and the team of mercenaries he's brought in to rob the place first before they blow it up. It's kind of layers that you don't necessarily need. If you think about, like, the Poseidon Adventure, is a boat gets hit by a wave, turns upside down, try and get out. That's one layer of plot, and it's perfect. It's all you need. This adds a couple more in. They're like, okay, you got the crew of mercs who come to blow it up, but they haven't told the guy who's bringing them there to blow it up, and they're going to take over his boat. You got like 4 different factions of people, of like Trillian, and then Treat Williams and Benny, and then the mercs, and then the evil guy who runs the whole thing, and then the captain who's on board the thing who doesn't know any of this either. There's all these people who just come in with different perspectives who don't know anybody else. It's maybe overcomplicating things a little bit, but I got it. I liked it.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, you're right. There's not...
At the end of the day, everyone's just trying to survive and get out at some point.
I guess you think about Deep Blue Sea. These sharks are trying to kill us. Anaconda, the snake, is trying to kill us. Voight, Voight's bad to begin with, so it's just they have to deal with Voight and the snakes.
Yeah, you might have like one person who's at odds with the rest of the group. This has 5 different groups, so all kind of at odds with each other to some degree. Yeah.
You know, Cliff Curtis was supposed to have a bigger role, but he didn't want to swim during that scene, so then they gave Clifton Powell the longer role.
And Clifton Powell did a great job with it.
Yeah, I love this character. I'm freaking out, man. I love the scene too when Trillian shoots the gun and she falls back into the water. It just makes me laugh. Oh gosh. And then the whole thing with Clifton Powell where he goes, "Fine wine, more like a keg of beer." I'm like, what?
I want him to grab Treat Williams' belly and kind of jiggle it a bit when he said that.
His cheek?
Yeah.
I love that thing too. If the cash is there, we do not care. And Tooch goes, "What kind of life lesson is that? Why?"
Which is fair. It's not words to live by. It's not gonna end well.
How do you get this crew?
What? Finnegan? Yeah.
How did Finnegan get Tooch and Layla? Because they seem pretty good at what they're doing, and they're a couple. Maybe, I don't know. He seems to have known them for a little while too.
I was surprised that they were a couple, given Tooch's how low opinion of himself he has, that he would have such an accomplished partner.
Yeah,
like, she seems far more sure of herself and capable than I would expect the partner of Tooch to be. Nothing against Kevin J. O'Connor, but he is just a character who is beaten up by everybody that he meets, every scene he goes to. So maybe that's just something about their relationship. I don't know, but I was surprised to discover, these two are a couple. Okay, moving on. But how he got them as a crew? Do you reckon that they were a couple before he hired them, and just being in such close quarters all the time, they just kind of fell in love?
Yeah, it seemed right. Because Finnegan is he's like a rogue. I don't know why she didn't like him.
So I reckon,
they were just
maybe
bored
he
on
was
the
with
boat.
somebody else when he first hired Layla, and she got with Tooch before Finnegan broke up with his then partner.
Hey, that makes sense.
There's some lore to this that we're making up, which fine.
And then also, as far as aquatic sea beasts go, what would you give this monster?
What to eat? Or...
I'm sorry, like A to Z, like A to F, like grade, like on a aquatic sea beast rating monster scale.
I really like it. It's at least a B from me. I like the design. I like that it's a genuine threat. For 98, the effects are pretty good, if you ask me. I mean, again, I'll go back to it. The half-eaten Billy dropped out. That looked incredible. I was so impressed with that scene. For something that's like 23 years old at this point, I was amazed.
So they call it the Octolus, and then there is a random scene though when Held, the rich boat owner, talks about it being an Otoa, like a family of deep sea worms.
With like the length of a pencil at some depth, and then a bit deeper down they can eat a shark, and